Behind the thinking of the Cold
Fair use, fair use.
War's doomsday planners is a strange mentality. It's okay to destroy the planet and kill nearly everyone on it. Because if you're one of the elite, you get to survive.
These crazy Cold War bunkers are like fantasy landscapes. They're kind of like monuments to elite delusion and paranoia because they won't work, but they embody this self-justification. Yeah, sure, we can invest billions of dollars, trillions of dollars in atomic weapons and even use them, and civilization will survive. That's deranged thinking.
It's 2017, just after Trump's inauguration. Media theorist Douglas Rushkoff shows up at an exclusive resort to deliver a talk about the digital future to a group of wealthy tech executives.
I was in the green room waiting to go on when 5 men came into the green room and sat around this little table they had there. And I found out that there was no talk for me to go do, that these guys were the talk. And they didn't want to hear the whole thing I had prepared. They just started peppering me with these questions, like Bitcoin or Ethereum. Which one should they bet on? Or augmented reality or virtual reality, which did I think would win? And then the third question, the one that made me realize that this was more than I signed up for, they said, Alaska or New Zealand? Meaning, where should they situate their bunkers for the event?
For years, New Zealand has been an apocalypse escape destination for America's elite. Notable homebuyers include the tech tycoon Peter Thiel, an outspoken supporter of Donald Trump. He's also bet that America was not the place to be if things collapsed, so he arranged for a New Zealand passport just in case. Other American elites were getting similar ideas.
The rest of my hour with them was them asking me all these like really specific questions about how to water test their plans for the apocalypse, for the electromagnetic pulse, or the economic downturn, or the disease or war that would necessitate them leaving their Silicon Valley ranches and retreating to these fortified bunkers in the middle of nowhere.
The government's secret plans to save itself now have competition from the secret plans of the 1%. From converted Cold War bunkers and missile silos to specially outfitted yachts, a doomsday industry caters to the mega-rich. Luxury bunkers with indoor pools, artificial sunlight, and supplies to stay sealed off from the world for years. From the Cold War till now, the most powerful people end up being the ones most afraid. And today, even as the actions of a few at the top have helped push poverty rates near their highest levels in half a century, it's the rich who fear losing control. Elite anxiety is on the rise.
The billionaires, they understand that they're playing a dangerous game, that they are running out of room to externalize the damage of the way their companies operate. Eventually, there's going to be, the social unrest that leads to your undoing, which is why these same people are looking at creating bomb shelters, going to Australia or New Zealand.
What I would say is this was sort of an acceleration of the notion of what we had called gated communities, where you try to insulate yourself from the social discord that's outside. But here, it was an evacuation plan.
For the billionaires in the green room with Rushkoff, the biggest concern is protecting themselves from the unruly masses.
The question we ended up spending the majority of time on was, how do I maintain control of my security force after my money is worthless? So these guys had already secured Navy SEALs and security forces to come and guard their facilities for them. But if the U.S. economy goes belly up, if the government's gone, if dollars are worthless, then why are those guys going to stay and protect them? Once they start talking in those terms, it's really easy to puncture a hole in their plan. So you've got 20 Navy SEALs hired to protect you and your family from the marauding mobs of people with jeeps and bazookas. Let's say that they've got great weapons and great strategies. Why are they defending you? Why are they letting you be in charge? Why won't they want their commander to be the one in charge?
Clear it, pop it.
Any monarch or ruler who is depending on their military to maintain their power ends up in a military coup, right? They end up taken over by their junta. It doesn't work that way. So what could we do? And there's one of those, I was thinking, we could do shock collars. Get them to wear shock collars so I could, zap them if they're going to go off and they understand that that's the price. Shock collars, really? You really think shock collars are going to work? They're going to wait till you're asleep in order to grab the little control button. It's just not going to work. The most powerful people in the world, they see themselves as utterly incapable of actually creating a future in which everything's going to be okay.
Fair use, fair use.
They're going to bet all their money on how do they, as individuals, somehow survive that disaster. They're destroying the whole thing. They're destroying the whole thing because they can't see a way out because of that paucity of imagination, because they don't want to acknowledge the larger operating system on which they're functioning. And they're slowly waking up to it, but rather than sort of come out of their mental bunkers and look at, wow, how could I operate in a less destructive, extractive way? Instead, they're just thinking, what's my safety plan? What's my escape hatch? How much food do I need to stick in my basement in order to survive the thing?
First and foremost, I want to give all honor and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakah, HaKodash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of GMS who I learned from. A healthy shalom to you brothers out there, sincere brothers, preaching this word in truth and sincerity. To you ribs, to you sisters out there, learning silence and staying in order. Right, that was a clip from Vice. Vice is owned by HBO. They do a lot of good segments. You guys should check them out. Right, this one was about the elites and the bunkers. As I read this week. Matter of fact, let me see if I can find it. All right, Salakia. I had to pause it real quick. There was a rumor. I don't know if it's true, but allegedly 15 billionaires allegedly built underground bunkers. Right, I have not found any evidence of that or any clippings of that. But anyways, as you saw in the clip from Vice, they've been doing this for a long time. You even heard the man in the interview say, entertain the fact that, putting shock collars on military personnel so they don't, turn on them. I mean, they have already thought of that. This is where that C-hip, right, the C to the H to the I to the P device will be implemented to be able to control. This is basically an electronic shackle in a sense, right? They're gonna roll that out to be able to control the masses, right? We have the UN like debit cards being passed out for the crossing of the immigrants. You know, that's just a way to pay them and some hush money, right? But besides the point, you know, Esau always tries to preserve himself. Always, since Genesis, you know, when you know he gave up his birthright, he was trying to preserve himself by any means. He gave up his birthright for just a meal because he was really tired from hunting. So, you know, how much more would he would sell his own, you know, family members to basically save his own life. So once the shit hits the fan, you know, these people are gonna hide. They're gonna put their heads in the sand. You know, they're gonna basically become an ostrich. This is Psalms 49 and 11. Their inward thoughts is that their houses shall continue forever. Right? Like they said, man, you know, they want to pass these bunkers down, even if it doesn't happen in the next 5 years, next 10 years, they want to pass them down to their children's children's children. See, because they want their lineage to continue and thrive and survive. Right? It says, their inward thought is that their houses shall continue forever and their dwelling places to all generations. They call their lands after their own names. Right? We have Babylon, aka America, named after Americo Vespucci, right? And they say, I'm not sure if this is 100% accurate, but allegedly Africa was named after Leo Scipio Africanus, I believe his name was, and among other names, right? So this is how we know who we dealing with, right? And that's how we know that also Cain is Esau, you know, spiritually, because he did the same things. Right? Let's go to Genesis 4. Genesis 4 and 17. And Cain knew his wife, and she conceived and bare Enoch. And he builded a city and called the name of the city after the name of his son Enoch. You see, so this is something that Esau does all the time. Right? So they take resources, they pillage, and then after that, you know, they set up societies, you know, and they crash, and then they hide in a rock. That's what they do. Modern day Flintstones. So Revelations 6, verse 15. And it reads, and the kings of the earth, and the great men, and the rich men, and the chief captains, and the mighty men, right? This is your Elon Musk, all them, Zuckerbergs, everybody, and every bondman, and every free man, right? Everybody in that day is going to want to hide. A lot of these elites will be in those bunkers in a couch, thinking they're safe, right? It says, hid themselves in the dens and in the rocks of the mountains, and said to the mountains and rocks, fall on us, and hide us from the face of him that sitteth on the throne, from the wrath of the Lamb. Verse 17, for the great day of his wrath is come, and who shall be able to stand? Right? You know, that goes for everybody. Everybody's going to want to hide at that point. But, you know, these elites already have a really comfortable nest at that point. You see? But guess what? It ain't going to save them. It's not going to save you, Esau. Because he knows the scriptures, man. This is Jeremiah 16:16. Behold, I will send for many fishers, right? And that's what's going on right now. You know, we fishing right now on this unicorn, the internet. We're trying to gather the elect and edify the sheep. Right? But when that trumpet, you know, and when the sound comes, and when the sleeper cells are activated through Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, then, you know, all hell's gonna break loose. From the top, behold, I will send for many fishers, said Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, and they shall fish them. And after will I send for many hunters, and they shall hunt them from every mountain and from every hill and out of the holes of the rocks. Right? So you're not gonna be able to hide, man. Verse 17, for my eyes are upon all their ways. They are not hid from my face, neither is there iniquity hid from my eyes. Verse 18, and first I will recompense their iniquity and their sin double, because they have defiled my land. They have filled my inheritance with the carcasses of their detestable and abominable things. Man, that's some type of judgment right there, man. The Lord's gonna put on you double. Man. I would hate to be next to an Edomite at that point, you know. Lord willing, you know, we get caught up in these chariots, man. But Esau's gonna be utterly destroyed. Waste. And with that, I'm gonna say shalom.